What is up? Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day. Back with some more Final Fantasy 16 gameplay, and just a quick update before I get into this video. Yes, Final Fantasy 16 is coming out tomorrow. It's my most anticipated game of the year, so I will not probably be uploading nowhere near as much as I will be usually in the next 2 to 3, however long it takes for me to really complete and play and enjoy this game. I will upload if necessary to whatever's going on, any new news that comes up, but not just Final Fantasy 16, but anything Resident Evil or something I like. But just understand, it's not that I've gone away, it's just that I like to play and enjoy stuff. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. This is my next episode, episode 4 of Why No One Takes Gaming Journalists Serious. And let me tell you, we got a real whopper of an article here, because this is basically the definition of I don't know what to write. A new game is coming out, and let me just write something so just blasphemous that I don't, because clearly this person, they will claim they're a Final Fantasy fan, but by the end of this article, I think we all can know they're not a Final Fantasy fan. I don't even know they're a fan of games, to be honest with you. But without further ado, let's get right into this terrible article, if you can even call it that. But let's go right in here. But as usual, if you do want to read this article, I'll leave a link down in the description. But if you are a Final Fantasy fan, I just warn you, this article is bad. This is really bad. This is a very terrible article for someone who, as I said, claims they're a Final Fantasy fan. They are literally the definition of someone who reads the back of the book compared to someone who read the whole book and then claims that they know everything about it and they're a fan. They're not a fan. They basically, as I said, they saw this game about to come out and just had to write an article hoping they get the attention because it's a new game coming out. But let's get right to it. The article is called Final Fantasy 16 is going to be the funniest game of the year. And the subtext title is Final Fantasy 16's demo is unintentionally hilarious in how it mimics Game of Thrones and makes Clive swear all the time. There's so much wrong with that statement, and I'm going to get into that as we get to this article. But like first off, funniest. How is this demo funny in any way? Like, there's a few cute moments, mostly with like Torgal, or when they're in the Kingdom 13 years ago with Clive, Jill, and Joshua, little cute child moments and stuff like that. I wouldn't call it necessarily funny, but nice little moments there. But like, how is it funny? For anyone who's honestly played a demo, did you ever laugh in the demo? Like, legitimately, like, laugh at something being funny and hilarious? Yeah, I didn't think so. So that just makes me look at you like, huh? The first part of this article, it's not really important, but just I don't know what this person's talking about. But basically, they're saying that this game, the latest from this game came from the good folks at Square Enix's Creative Business Unit 3. That's the team's development team's division in the company in the end credits, and they start making fun of the name, saying like that's the name of a college class you skip most of the time and still get an A in. And I'm just thinking, like, what does it got to do with anything? Like that's my problem with these journalists, is like they start talking about things that have nothing, like it's a name, whoop-de-doo, who cares? It might not seem more important in this video, but it's just like, let that like set the tone for just how nonsensical and just out of place this article really is. But that's how they started off with. So they start talking to me like, oh, well, we had our doubts about this game, but the demo we liked the demo. We were proven wrong. And I'm not going to get too much into that because that's not really the important juicy bits of this thing that really make you go, huh? But where it starts to get into a degree of like, what are they talking about? What are they really doing? Is when they really start talking about the story. Because the biggest complaints that anyone has had, and I've already addressed this in an earlier video about like, with Final 16 is the combat section. They don't think that the combat section is Final Fantasy as, even though that there's been like 8 different combat battle systems in Final Fantasy history, probably more than that, but yet now it's a problem. But anyway, they started to describe it as like, Final Fantasy's newest game series. The main character is a golf dude whose catchphrase is a worried sigh. And I'm thinking, how is he a golf dude? Why? Because he's in dark, huh? Like, he's obviously going through a lot of crap. I don't see how that makes him a golf dude, and his catchphrase is sighs? Like, what are you talking about? Like, are you implying he doesn't speak? Which is completely wrong. Like, he doesn't speak too much in the segment you're watching here, but you get a small segment. Obviously, it's to showcase, what made him like this, but obviously he's going to speak a lot. We've seen a lot of trailers and stuff, but, like, what are you talking about? Then he goes on to say that the second conclusion I reached from this demo is that this game might be the funniest games of the year, maybe ever. And I'm just like, huh? But then he follows up with this. As I watch 8 or 9 story-driven tragedies happen in a row, I realize this could possibly be the stupidest, silliest, most self-serious game of my dreams. Everything about it is so ridiculous. What is ridiculous? What is... So, let me get this straight. If you haven't played the demo, I'll just sum up real short for you. A lot of things go wrong for Clive, especially in the flashback. He basically loses his entire family. Okay? Obviously, if you've played any Final Fantasy game, you know that having a lot of tragedy and bad things happen kind of goes hand in hand. Final Fantasy games are very emotional experiences. They're like the ultimate emotional roller coaster. They have their ups and downs and all arounds. What in the world is wrong? What makes that silly and stupid? Like, what were you wanting from that? Like, that's what I want to know. Like what? What is so silly about watching your family massacred in front of you? What is so stupid about that? Self-serious? How is that being self-serious? It's obviously a very serious moment. Are you implying it's not supposed to be serious? It's supposed to be a comedy? Because apparently that's what he thinks it is. Apparently Final Fantasy 16 is a comedy. You're supposed to laugh at that. So when you see the family members, die and someone get beheaded and murdered, and you're supposed to laugh at that? So everything about this is ridiculous? No, I think your article is ridiculous. But it gets worse. It gets worse. So he starts to, going about the story. Oh, well, he's one of those type of dudes, you're supposed to see everything coming. You're supposed to have every, plot twist and turn. It's like, dude, everyone's different. Okay, I've played a lot of games, and yeah, sometimes I can see things, but just because I know they're coming doesn't mean it doesn't make them effective. But then he says the demo goes hard. You have all this death and destruction, and it's got to have, it's all hilarious nonsense. Like people dying in a Final Fantasy game is hilarious nonsense, basically. So if you've ever played Final Fantasy before, right? If you ever played Final Fantasy before, so when, you played the recent one, the remake. So when all the people died in the when the sector plate come crashing down below, all those people died. Was that hilarious nonsense? Were you laughing at that when, the Avalanche crew, when they died? Hell, the original Final Fantasy 7, when Aerith died, were we laughing at that? Was that hilarious nonsense? When Tidus and Auron disappeared in Final Fantasy X, were we laughing at that? Was that supposed to be funny? When Sin was just destroying all these people in Final Fantasy X, were we laughing at that? When the beginning prologue of Final Fantasy 12, when there's a big war and the prince died, were we laughing at that? Was that hilarious nonsense? Tell me you've never played a Final Fantasy game before without telling me you've never played a Final Fantasy game before. What did you think it was going to be? Did you think everyone was just going to be all happy and excited? So then it gets into the whole, the developer said they were inspired by Game of Thrones because of all the similarities, which, that's cool. I like to see that. But because it makes the game weird and has hilarious moments. Currently, in this one, I'm going to say this right now, if you're a true Final Fantasy fan, I apologize in advance. This pissed you off a lot. So apparently, he says, one of the most dramatic moments in the demo is finding out a high-jumping knight is a Dragoon. That's told in a way that's supposed to be like, uh-oh, trouble now, but it's so goofy knowing the guys who can jump high are a major threat. We've seen them, they're silly. How dare you insult a Dragoon? I hope Kane Highwind himself comes and jumps on you, and unfortunately he's not real, but if you've never played Final Fantasy, he's from Final Fantasy 4, obviously the most famous Dragoon, but I hope he jumps high and lands on you. We'll see how silly that looks when it happens to you. Who says that? The Dragoon, everybody who's seen that got excited. They were like, oh crap, the Dragoon, he's here. A lot of people say, man, that's peak Final Fantasy right there. It was awesome as crap. What? Are you a Final Fantasy fan? I'm really highly doubting it now. Because, my God, you can't be saying the dumbest things in the world about it. But, man, a Dragoon is silly. Really? That actually ushered in your lips. Next thing you're going to tell me that Leon's jacket in Resident Evil 4 is stupid. And at that point, just run for the hills. But the next part, he just clearly lies. But he basically says that Clive Rossfield, that's his full name, by the way. And by the way, apparently that's a Resident Evil sounding name. Yeah. Whatever. Apparently he says that he just swears all the time and his swearing is funny. He swears one time in the trailer. Maybe there's a say I'm missing, but he's talking about the real swearing, and he swears one real major time, and it is an iconic and epic moment. It happens at the brunt of all these tragedies that Clive has had to experience firsthand, and anyone in a situation would probably be a lot worse for wear, and he delivers a really great delivery of the line. By the way, a lot of people are giving the voice actor, I think his name is Ben, I don't know his full name, but they're giving him a lot of credit for that, and rightfully so, because it's not necessarily what he says, it's how he delivers it, because you can sound like he sounds real, like he's angry, but he sounds real sick to his stomach at the same time, he's just absolutely disgusted. So this guy claims he swears, he doesn't. By the way, how could he swear all the time if you just basically claim he's like, oh, well, if he's not saying ah or sound effects, he's swearing, which is a lie. I mean, you're watching. I mean, look, you see Clive on the screen right now. Is he swearing here? Is he no? Apparently, that's all he did according to this guy is swear and just make sound effects. And then he says that the line he delivers at the end, at the bulk of this whole tragedy event, it doesn't land. You are the first person that's ever said that. But then he has the gall to say that it's in comparison to how, the scene from Final Fantasy X when Tidus and Yuna are laughing. Yeah, a moment when people are dying and a guy is absolutely angry, upset, and just absolutely sick to his stomach compared to a scene where two characters are laughing to have fun. Yeah. Great comparison. Tell me you've never played Final Fantasy before without telling me you've never played Final Fantasy before. Seriously. But yeah, I mean, I tell you what, they have a live-action Pinocchio movie. They need to cast you as the main character because, damn, your nose is going to go out of the screen. It'd be a 3D effect how big it'd be. But my God. And unfortunately, it doesn't end there. So he goes on with the whole, comparisons to Game of Thrones, and he basically says a lot of people, the appeal of Game of Thrones was less about political machinations that drove the narrative and more about bad, beautiful people doing bad things to other beautiful people in a sad world. Now, guys, I've never really watched Game of Thrones before. I remember in its heyday when it was the most must-watch thing on TV. But if you've ever watched it, please tell me that is the most basic, not even a definite, if you were trying to describe the show or entice someone to watch the show, would you ever say it like that? No, you wouldn't. It's a lot more complex than that. So it's just clear that this person doesn't watch anything they claim or play anything they claim they do. They just give the most generic, basic, terrible interpretation of that. But they go on and they said, instead of, in this game, instead of fighting frost zombies being the Goofest monster, we're going to have goblins and giant RPG plants. Are you calling a Marlboro a giant plant? I mean, dude, just, you know what I would respect more from this person? If you just come out and say, you know what, I hate Final Fantasy, this franchise is dumb, I hate it, it's silly and stupid. Because at least I could respect that. I could respect that you just don't like it, because you clearly don't like the franchise. I mean, all you've done is insult it. You've insulted this franchise in this entire article. You've even taken some shots at Game of Thrones, and he continues on. I think what makes me laugh about it is the stretch you need to make it work. Final Fantasy games can be certainly serious, but you also need counterbalance so they don't feel like high schoolers' story ID notebook. You need an element of levity or calm, or your world is going to feel more like hard to be a god than even Game of Thrones. What is this stretch? That's what I'm trying to get through here. What is this stretch that we can't believe? What happened makes you not believe it? You're the only person I've heard that is making these asinine, things. And, Final Fantasy games have a lot of serious moments to them. I don't understand, what is... I don't get it. I really don't understand what they are. And then he goes on and says that, I'm going to laugh my ass off when the game struggles to shoehorn in cactars and tonberries with a quasi-medieval story based on another quasi-medieval story based on a real English Civil War. Dude, this game isn't set in a real life setting. It's got similarities, but it's a fictional, it's not real. But once again, you just saw icons flying around here. You just said the RPG plant, the mall brawl. You had goblins. You got magical abilities. Why would a cactar and tonberry be hilarious? What is funny about that? Like, what would make that funny and hilarious? The only thing this guy says that I believe is the very end where he says, you know what, I'm probably being dumb, man. Final Fantasy stories are usually pretty great. Yeah, you're being dumb. You're a dumb ass. But I know exactly why he did this whole thing. And as I said earlier, the reason they wrote this article is, you know what? It's a famous game coming out. It's about to come out tomorrow. I might as well just write something to get something to be engineered and stuff so that people look at it, even if it's stupid as hell. But, I mean, come on, man. This is so dumb. I mean, the only thing I've heard people say about this demo is that they couldn't quite get... They're still anal about the battle system. But in terms of the story, like, people have been really excited, like, man, I can't wait to jump into this story. I can't wait to go into it. Like, I've never heard anyone, even the people that didn't go crazy for the demo, say, oh, the story is going to be hilarious. It's funny. It's silly. It's stupid. Like, who is making these claims? And it's just, wow. Like, how in the world... It's clear you're not a Final Fantasy fan. It's clear you're not. I harbor a guess that you're probably not really a gamer. You just, like, see things, you just read surface level things and just act like you know what you're talking about when you clearly don't, because you just disrespected everything there. So, shocker. Why don't you actually let actual people that play the games, I don't know, honestly, make the journalist stuff. Maybe that's a thought there, but man, this is bad. But yeah, let me know down below, like, when you played the Final Fantasy 16 demo, did you think it was funny when you saw all the people in the family dying, getting beheaded, killed? Like, what was that hilarious to you? Was that supposed to be funny? Did you laugh at it? Did you think it was silly and stupid? Did you think the fact that it has similarities with Game of Thrones or something like that makes it silly? And because it's in Final Fantasy world, that you can't, it doesn't make sense. Like, see, it's funny. Like, oh my God, the Tomberries. We're not going to take that seriously, even though we just saw gigantic icons all over the place. But no, the Tomberries is too much. We got Chocobo riding and stuff like that. I tell you what, man, it's a Skip Bayless effect. It really is. It's like, man, that guy caused a virus to not just sports journalists, but all journalists everywhere, because, man, everyone's like a bunch of Skip Baylesses. They're just writing these articles or making these points just to, like, showcase how dumb they are, even if they have no credence or no point at all, but just to see how stupid they sound and get noticed because of that. And it's just sad. There's no pride and dignity in terms of being a journalist. And I feel sorry for actual journalists who do put a lot of effort and time and respect what they're doing and have respect to their audiences and stuff like that. I feel bad for them. They're the ones that get overshadowed all the time because all these idiot, wannabe Skip Baylesses and it's just, man, it's giving the wrong impression. But clearly, this person is not a Final Fantasy fan, and clearly, Final Fantasy 16 is not a comedy. But let me know in the comment section what you think about how terrible this article is. But that is going to be it. Hopefully, you guys did enjoy this video, and hopefully, I can see you guys back on the next one, whenever that may be. It might be a while, but I'll try to be as quick as possible. But thank you very much for watching. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope to see you all later. Peace.